Following Christ, Chapter 8, The Body Works Together. Greetings, I'm JC Pilcher, and this is JCPC Apologetics. Well, hello guys, and welcome to another Friday video. For those who may be confused that I missed a bad arguments last week, that was because the Ruth Bader Ginsburg thing came up, and I figured it was more important to talk about that than do another episode of bad arguments. That will return next Monday. Today we're going to go back to the series on the book by Charles Spurgeon, Following Christ. Now, I want to add a little disclaimer here. If you are watching this and it's your first time to this video, definitely go back and start with the beginning of the book, because there's no point in starting a book review in the middle. It makes no sense. So I definitely recommend you go back to the start and start from there. And I'll leave a link if, so make it easier for you to go back and do that. And I'm mentioning this sort of right now because I had somebody not long ago who came to me and thought that I was referring to a book that I wrote. And I said, I think I included in every video that this is a book by Charles Spurgeon, not that I wrote, but that I'm doing, that I'm reviewing, that I'm reading and doing a commentary on as I go. So I want to make it clear, this is not my book. I wish I could write that well. I did not write this book, but it's a good book. I recommend that you follow it along. Leave comments in my videos about, the insights that you got. You're going to get something different when you read it than I will. You'll probably catch something that I missed out on. So, it'd be nice to have y'all's input on it as well. But with that said, we're in chapter 8. Chapter 8 is a very short chapter. There's not much in it, but it's a very good chapter because it is something that is a very important conversation for us to have. The thing that kind of shocks me as I'm reading this is, even though Spurgeon lived so long ago and in a different place, the issues he was facing are very much the same issues that we're facing today. And this comes across very clearly in this chapter. And he's talking about the fact that the body of Christ has to work together. Basically, there aren't Lone Ranger Christians. You, as a Christian, when you go out and you minister, you're doing it building on another person's foundation, probably, with the help of other people. And that's a good thing. And that is very important for us today because we have so many narcissistic people who see ministries as, an opportunity to promote themselves. You look at all the Word Faith guys out there, Benny Hinn, T.D. Jakes, Jesse Duplantis, Kenneth Copeland, the list goes on and on. Whenever you look at their books, what are their books? Their books covers are them, because their ministries are all about them. It's promotion of themselves. Benny Hinn works at Benny Hinn Ministries and things like that. Their ministries are about themselves, exalting themselves, building themselves, and we have a very narcissistic culture that really appeals to. But obviously, it was the same problem that they had back in Charles Spurgeon's day. In fact, the fact is they probably have had this problem all throughout the history of Christianity. Because sadly, people who, want power and want to control people will go into politics or religion, or mix both if they can. So there's a lot of potential for abuse here. And Charles Spurgeon is saying, we don't need to have these Lone Ranger ministries. We need people who are working with others. He really stressed the importance in this chapter of acknowledging those who came before, giving credit to the people that, that came before you that led up to this. I think about the JCPC apologetics I'm doing here. It really has come about because of ministries of lots of other faithful people, John MacArthur, Vodi Bakum, people like that. They had a huge impact on what I believe and what I'm putting out here. Never accuse me of being an original person. Okay. 99%, in fact, 99% or more of what I put on this channel is just me regurgitating what I've heard from faithful men throughout the years. I left out R.C. Sproul, but there's many other, Paul Washer, guys that, Steve Lawson's, a lot of great guys out there that I have been affected by, and they're, I acknowledge them, and we should acknowledge where we're getting our stuff, where we came from. We didn't get where we are because of our own, our own intelligence or our own whatever. We stand on the shoulders of giants. And it's good to acknowledge those people, not to be going around bragging about being self-made or anything, but acknowledging the great people that we came from. And, obviously glorifying God who gave them the wisdom that they were able to impart to you. Now, one thing that Charles Spurgeon said that was very stuck out to me, and I think is very good, is he basically said, and I'm sorry, I'm going to look over to read the quote, but he said, "We do not live for honor, but we live for Christ." We're not out here trying to get our own honor. If that's what you're after, well, Jesus would say to you the same thing he said to the Pharisees: you've got your reward. If you're going out there to get, to get promoted, to get liked, if you're on the internet, say an example like me, if I'm here for likes, clicks, subscribes, and all that stuff, that's about the reward I'm going to get. That's about the extent of it. That's not a good motivation. We're here to honor Christ and to promote Christ, not to honor ourselves. He also said, who cares what we do as long as Christ is glorified by it? That's one issue that we face today. Certainly, I'm sure, it was an issue that Charles Spurgeon faced in his day too, is that there are people who don't want to serve God unless it is a showy position, for lack of better words. They want to be pastors. They want to be, teachers. They want to be music leaders. They want to be musicians. They want to be all these things that get seen. Nobody wants to be janitors. Nobody wants to do, watch the children. Though, personally, I'm a guy who thinks that we should do less nursery and more integrated services. But, nobody wants to do those tough jobs that you don't get recognized for. Who cares, as Charles Spurgeon says, who cares as long as Christ is being honored, and as long as Christ is being glorified? Who cares what you do? That shouldn't be our concern. And the fact is, the Bible does warn us about those who want to be teachers, that they'll be held to a stricter judgment. And so we shouldn't be so eager to jump into that position. The last thing that I'll mention in regard to this is that he basically said that, our interdependence, the fact that we are not Lone Rangers, the fact that we are dependent on others, to do the ministry properly, it keeps us humble. If we were able to build a ministry all by ourselves, if we were able to, do all these great exploits without the help of others, we would get prideful. Let's be honest. The fact is, nobody can do that. You take groups like, the Benny Hinn's. They might talk about Benny Hinn's ministry and I did this, I did that. But the fact is that they're held up by lots of other people. They just pridefully brag about it as if they did it by themselves. The body of Christ, the actual body of Christ, because Benny Hinn is not a part of the real one, we're interdependent. We need each other. We have to rely on each other. And it's wrong for us to try to do everything on our own, in our own strength. And that's not a bad thing, that we have to be dependent upon each other. We're a body. Body has many parts. Yes, the body can operate without a hand, without an arm, without a leg, but it sure isn't going to be very effective. We depend upon each other, and that's a good thing. And so, with that said, that basically covers everything that's in this chapter. Again, it's a short and sweet one, but one that Americans definitely need to hear today, and I'm sure it's a plague all across humanity, because you'll find the issues in one culture are the issues in the next culture. Because sin is sin, and people are people, and we've got the same weaknesses wherever you go. Now, with that said, before you leave, I also want to recommend that you click on this short little video that I'm going to leave after this one is over. It'll be linked, and it'll be called "What is the Gospel?" There, I'll explain to you what the gospel is. And you might be asking, why are you wanting me to hear the gospel? I'm probably here because I'm a Christian or whatever. Because Christians need to be reminded of the gospel. This is very important information. We need to hear it every day. We need to be reminded of our need for Christ. We need to be reminded, every day, because every day we sin and every day we fall short and every day we need fresh grace. And to be reminded that it's not because of our works that we're saved, but because of grace. If you are a believer, I recommend you click on that video. And the fact is, you never know. God's providence works in some very interesting ways. Sometimes the fact is a person might be on this video who's not a Christian. Why he would be here, I don't know, but sometimes that can happen. And if you are that person, you need to hear the gospel, because the fact is you probably have no idea what Christians believe. You don't have any idea what we mean when we say the gospel. And so that video was made specifically for you. But with that said, God bless. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment below and feel free to like and share it so others can see it as well. Also, subscribe so that you can keep up to date on future videos. And as always, please check below to see resources that I've used that might help you to further your studies. God bless and have a great day.